Welcome to the space where truth doesn't need to be polite and joy is no longer up for negotiation. I am Grayson Kahn, and this is Joy Was the Target. This episode is for the women who were raised to feel like their joy was selfish, dangerous, or even too much. But deep down, you've always known it was your birthright. And today, we're going to talk about reclaiming it. So, let's discuss first about narcissistic mothers don't just shame your voice, they also target your joy. Joy is a frequency of expansion, of freedom, of power, and that makes it a threat to a narcissistic system. It challenges that control toxicity energy. It challenges their manipulation and their guilt and their shame tactics. And so, you were taught that staying small equals staying safe. But joy is not indulgent. Joy is a currency. Joy is how your body remembers who she is. So it's not that you were too much, it's that they were too disconnected to hold it. Now, I recently learned some really fascinating channeled information about what happens when you're, especially if you have a malignant combination narcissistic mother, what happens when they betray you as a soul on the highest level. So it's something called soul treason, and it's where they sacrifice you to, I would say, the best way I can say this is they sacrifice you to this dark energy from a very young age. So for my instance, my example, my mother sacrificed me to my pedophilic uncle, and she knew who he was. She knew what would happen if we were left alone with him. And I have this really cool information where I really go deep about what happens on a non-physical level that is directly connected to your light body and this parasitic demonic consciousness that can affect you through your adult life from that sacrificial energy from childhood. So if you guys are interested in going even deeper and wanting to learn more about that, I have opened up a sacred portal on my TikTok subscription page where I share channeled truths, nervous system rituals, voice codes, and just so much more. So if you are interested in that, go check it out. I just launched it. It is $19.99 a month. I originally had it at $45.99 because I was trying to decide the kind of energy and the kind of capacity and the kind of space that I wanted to hold. But yes, I have finally come to a decision, and that is going to be a fantastic private portal for you if you are ready to dive deep and go there. So anyways, that content will be posted by the end of today. So I am filming this podcast Sunday, June 15th, but this should be launched on Wednesday. I'm not sure what day that is. Is that the 18th? The 19th? I can't remember. But any whoosies, let's get back to the episode. So one of the things I want to mention here is there's this grief that no one talks about. This grief of realizing that your own mother, one, couldn't love your joy, and two, didn't even want to love it and didn't even want you to have it, didn't want you to embody it. And I want to share with you guys what I have personally cried for. I have personally cried and grieved this fantasy idea of who I thought my mother was my whole entire life. And when I came to terms with the really hard, hurtful truth of who she really is and what her intentions have been this whole time, I mean, there has just been layer after layer after layer of grief that has purged out of my heart chakra, my physical heart, and also my nervous system, and also my inner child as well. And it's really sad. It is really sad, and I feel like I still haven't, the full gravity of this has not fully sank into me yet, because, right, there's just so much freaking emotional energy to move through and feel and release, but it's just crazy how bamboozled you can get from growing up with a malignant combination, covert, overt, narcissistic mother. And I want to shed some light about this kind of abuse, this kind of psychological and emotional and mental abuse is, right, because it is psychological, because it is mental, because it is emotional, it doesn't look physical in the sense of you can see all the physical bruises it has caused, but it does manifest in other ways. Like, it can manifest as ADHD happening in your subconscious mind because there's so many repressed and blocked memories that your subconscious mind is trying to protect you from. And so it develops ADHD tendencies. It develops all of these different neural pathways and connections in the brain, which, like, I'm telling you guys, this narcissistic abuse, I hate using the word invisible, but it's not so obvious. And that's why it's so extremely difficult to leave those family systems and to get away from those parents, because it's not so obvious, right? Like, when you look outside of a relationship of a man and a woman and it's like a physically abusive relationship, you're like, girl, like, leave. You have a black eye, you have a bloody nose, like, it's so obvious, right? But when you look at somebody who grew up in a narcissistic family system, it may not even look that obvious, even though you have signs of mental abuse. Like, maybe you think slower, maybe you have ADHD tendencies, maybe you have autistic tendencies. I mean, there's just so many different things that your body will do and will create in order to keep you safe. That's the biggest thing. It's our bodies, our minds are designed to keep us safe. So when we go through crazy amounts of trauma, there's so many different things that can play out physiologically in our body. And I know way too many women who have had hormone issues like myself, thyroid issues, like they had to start taking medication because their inner child, where their inner child sits in the non-physical is right on top of the thyroid. And when you have so much trauma sitting there for years of your life, it goes undealt with, it eventually manifests as disease. And that's when you start seeing the physical aftermath of it, right? And then it's not so invisible anymore. But anyways, I just want to say that it has been very extremely heartbreaking to process that the woman that gave birth to me in this lifetime has been against me literally since before I was even born. Okay, like, it's just crazy. It's so crazy. And then moving through your day-to-day life and your matrix job and things happening to your car and just things happening in general, and having no healthy mother to just call up when you're having a bad day or a hard day, or if you're moving through a toxic relationship, you know, there's no healthy mother to give you advice on. It's like, I've had to do all of that alone, all by myself. And yes, I have coworkers and acquaintances that I connect with from time to time, which do act as a somewhat temporary support system. But, you know, for the majority of the time, I'm carrying a lot of my own weight on my own shoulders. And I know that if you're here listening to this podcast too, you're doing the exact same thing. And I'm here to remind you that you're not alone. And this community that I have created, let me just say, you are so held and you are so heard here. And I just want you to know that I love you, and we are in this together. We are healing together. We are recreating our new lives together. We're rebuilding together, and we are going to recreate and bring forth this newer and truer energy and saying no more. Enough is enough. And these are the new templates. These are the new guidelines. These are the new rules that we're going to start following and embodying, because this is just what makes sense, and this is what works, and this is what's healthy and functional. Like, no more are we doing the trauma bonded femininity. No more are we doing the narcissistic relationships, even if they're family. Fuck all that. Fuck that. You know what? Light that match, throw it behind you, light up those bridges, and keep it moving and keep rebuilding. And one of the things I read in my book that I'm reading, it's called Think and Grow Rich. I'm like obsessed with books, y'all. I always have been since I was a kid. But the guy in the book talks about these different success stories of I don't know if it was like men in particular, but different groups basically going to war, and the ones that threw a match behind them, lit up everything, lit up all their boats and everything, and like had them be forced to stay and like fight the other team or whatever, even though the other team had less resources. It was like they won because they didn't give themselves that opportunity to fall back and be like, oh, well, you know, at least I still have that behind me. It's like, no, like they force themselves to keep it moving. And that's the kind of energy that I feel like I move through, and that I'm going to help you guys move through as well. So anyways, also I want to mention what it felt like to hide my joy to stay safe. When I first became conscious of this in my adult life about a year ago, actually, this is how recent this was. I became conscious of this a year ago, and I just remember like going to the grocery store and like feeling my joy creep forward. And then every time like my mom was around me or I was with her, it was like she consciously like wanted to put her thumb over my flame. It was like she did not want me to experience joy. And I eventually started to catch on to that, and I was like, what the hell? Like, and I said something to her about it too. I was like, I feel like every time I go out in public with you, like you're just miserable and like you just want to have like a negative time all the time. And she was like, thanks, blah, blah, right? Like typical narc response, like just no emotional accountability whatsoever, like no responsibility, like just totally non-existent. And that's when I started taking notes. I was like, okay, like I'm not safe to be myself. This is not healthy. And it's not going to change either, clearly. And also she's gaslighting me. Okay, what is this? Like, what is really going on here? Like, I started recording videos because I told myself, I'm like, I feel like I'm crazy. Like, I would do one thing and she would say I did another. And I'm like, no way, because I have the video recording of this entire conversation. Like, there's no way. And then anyways, I like eventually learned that she was a malignant narcissist. And I'm like, oh, okay, got it, duly noted. And I actually remember one time, like, I like went into her bedroom to get something, and my solar plexus went crazy. Like, it was like, hey, there is crazy energy in here that is way misaligned with your soul and your energy. And I took note of that, and I just started documenting everything until I had enough evidence of like, okay, I'm not crazy. I have now put all of this to paper, and I'm going to start making moves to get the fuck out of here and recreate a new life for myself, because clearly I will never be able to have a healthy life or a healthy relationship with her or my dad as well. And so, like I said, I took that match, I lit it, and I threw it behind me, and here we are to this day. So, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful I did that, because right now, for all of you listening to this podcast, right now my podcast channel is being heard in over 200, I think, cities. Over 200 cities and 38 countries. And that's just on my Apple and Spotify. That's not even including my YouTube statistics where it also gets released. And so, pretty crazy. I am being heavily listened to right now through my podcast channel because of the healing and transmission codes that come specifically through my voice, and the different portals of healing that come through my voice as a channel for all of you to heal yourself as well. And yeah, I'm like one of the top listened to podcasts in South Africa, which is pretty crazy. Never saw that happening. But yeah, like I said, like everything has just been leveling up and expanding ever since I lit that match. So yeah, and the last point that I want to talk about is this strange ache that hits when you realize you were punished for your aliveness. And that was like the moment that I had. I was like, holy shit, like she really doesn't want me to be happy around her. Like, why? And I just like, I couldn't see it at the time. I was like, why would my own mother not want me to be happy, right? Because she was doing so many mixed signals all the time of like, oh, like I'll take care of the groceries and I'll take you out to dinner and I'll buy this for you. But then at the same time, like there was like the other side of that I got too. And so because of the mixed signals, it was so confusing to even like mentally grasp and navigate that I was like, what the hell? Like, this is why I have to write down what I'm experiencing, because I'm starting to feel like I'm going crazy, but I wasn't going crazy. I was like, my mom genuinely does not want to see me happy. Like, she wants me to be miserable like her because she settled for a miserable life and literally made a deal with the devil and invited in a parasitic demonic consciousness into her energy. But that's like for a whole other story. Yeah, like I said about that, if you guys are curious about that information, go check out my TikTok subscription portal. It's so crazy. I cannot wait to film that video. Oh, it's gonna be epic. Anyways, so I just want to offer this. Grief is sacred. It's not a weakness, even though it may feel like it. It's this detox of trauma from your cells, and grief is actually what clears the path for joy to rise again, which is something interesting that I learned. And I want to talk about how this connects directly to financial freedom. And here's what no one tells you. When you begin to reclaim your joy, you start to reclaim your earning power. Because money responds to joy, not hustle. Because safety in the body is the portal to overflow. So this is why it's so important to heal your nervous system and establish a baseline of safety and security in your body and really shift your somatic identity, because that is going to allow your body and your nervous system to hold the frequency of financial freedom. That is something nobody ever taught me. I had to learn that from myself, from doing my spiritual hygiene techniques on myself and eventually figuring that out. But anyways, when you stop performing and you start feeling, you actually become magnetic and you magnetize opportunities and money to you without having to lift a finger. That is also something that I couldn't even get my mind around, because I was like, well, that's never happened to me before, so how can I even believe that if I never experience it? And like I said, once I started doing all my nervous system healing and energy healing techniques on myself, wow, I started magnetizing in more people, being seen more on social media, getting sales for my book. Like, my magnetism is growing and expanding. It's growing and expanding, and it's growing and expanding. Because I have gotten to the point where I have almost recalibrated my entire nervous system and shifted my somatic identity to hold that freedom frequency, okay? And when you're in survival mode, when your energy, when you still are hooked and have cords connected to the survival grid of the matrix, of the fear grid of the matrix, you will not be able to hold financial freedom in your body or in your nervous system. So again, if you are interested in learning how to do that energy healing on yourself, and you want to be able to hold financial freedom successfully without building your business in survival mode and then having it collapse and start over and collapse and start over and over and over, and you just want an easy, effortless, energetic foundation like I did, head over to that TikTok subscription portal once again. I'm telling you guys, this is like an incredible journey we're about to embark on together. So I'm really excited for it, and I love to see people win. I love to see people pull themselves out of the deepest, darkest black holes and totally transform their lives where people can't even recognize where they came from. And that's people like in my life now, right now. People in my job can't even fathom what I went through in childhood. Well, first of all, they don't know because I don't tell them my business because it's none of their business. But yeah, if I did tell them, even like the little things that I have shared, they're just like, no way, no, I don't believe you. And I feel like that's just the fattest compliment anybody can ever give me. So anyways, I just want to share this. The moment that I stopped asking my trauma for permission to be free, and I started creating income for my voice, my softness, and my truth. So I'm going to repeat that. The moment that I stopped asking my trauma for permission to be free, I started creating income from my voice, my softness, and my truth, which has been pretty wild because none of us are given manuals on how to escape the matrix. Like, everyone just kind of goes off of what other people are doing, right? Like, when you see people break out the matrix financially by doing Amazon business or drop shipping or whatever it's called, you're just kind of like, okay, well, I'm glad you like that and you can dedicate all your energy and time to that, but I can't. Like, I actually want to be doing something that's soul aligned. I want a soul aligned business with financial freedom frequency, not like this. It's like, I kind of see those things as like games. It's almost like a game that you like master playing, and that's just not the kind of energy and frequency I vibe with. I'm like, nah, I need to do something that's like soul led, and soul led is helping all of you heal the deepest roots of your feminine energy and help you to recreate and rebuild a new life for yourself, and teaching you how to heal your nervous system, and just doing so much. Like there's just so much I love doing for other people. But anyways, I don't want to go on a long tangent for you guys. So to conclude this really powerful episode, I just want to remind you all that your joy was never the problem. It was the target, because it's the power. You were targeted. Your power was targeted in childhood. And when you reclaim it, you don't just get free, you get rich. So if you're ready to go deeper into this work with me, I've opened a private TikTok subscription portal where I share channeled truths, nervous system healing rituals, and voice codes. And this is your deep, deep, deep soul reminder that you are not too sensitive, okay? You're just finally safe enough to feel again. Give yourself that permission. I give myself permission to feel this intense sadness, this intense anger, this intense grief, this intense joy, all right? And when your joy starts to come back, don't let other negative, miserable people shit on it, because they will try, especially your low vibey coworkers. They suck. Okay, I'm just gonna throw that out there. They fucking suck, and they don't want to see you connect to your joy either, just like your narcissistic mother. So fuck all them. And yeah, I love you, and I'm so proud of you and your joy. And I will see all of you guys in the next episode. All of the links can be found in the show notes below. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Bye for now.